Tony Stark and Howard Stark. Howard Stark was a brilliant inventor and key architect of America's military-industrial future, but he was an emotionally distant father. His work with weapons development, shield, and global defense always took priority over family. Tony grew up surrounded by success but deprived of reassurance. Howard believed pressure created excellence. Tony experienced it as constant disappointment. Howard's sudden death in 1991 permanently froze the conflict. Tony never received closure, and this unresolved tension shaped his personality. His arrogance, recklessness, and obsession with control are attempts to prove his worth. In Iron Man 2, Tony discovers a recorded message where Howard calls him his greatest creation, offering delayed validation but no emotional intimacy. True resolution occurs in Avengers: Endgame, when Tony meets a younger Howard in 1970. Seeing his father anxious and imperfect humanizes him. Tony realizes Howard loved him, but failed to show it. This understanding frees Tony from seeking approval and allows him to sacrifice himself without resentment, completing his arc. Peter Quill and Ego. Ego presents himself as Peter Quill's loving biological father, offering purpose, power, and belonging. However, Ego's love is entirely conditional. He values Peter only because Peter can help complete his universal expansion. Ego murdered Peter's mother to remove emotional attachment. He openly admits this without remorse. This reveals his true nature. Ego sees children as tools. Thousands of his offspring were killed and discarded when they failed to meet his expectations. Peter is forced to choose between destiny and humanity. Killing Ego is not revenge, it is self-definition. Peter rejects the idea that blood determines identity or obligation. This conflict establishes a core MCU principle. Biology does not make a parent. Love, restraint, and sacrifice do. Thor and Odin. Thor is raised as a warrior prince in Asgard, taught that strength, conquest, and honor define leadership. Odin reinforces this worldview for centuries, then abruptly rejects it. When Thor attacks the frost giants in Thor, Odin banishes him to Earth and strips him of his powers, claiming Thor must learn humility. The conflict stems from contradiction. Odin punishes Thor for behaving exactly as he was raised to behave. Odin never explains his change in values or acknowledges his own violent past. Thor learns to associate worthiness with obedience and royal approval rather than character. On Earth, powerless and isolated, Thor learns empathy, sacrifice, and restraint. By Thor Ragnarok, he understands that leadership means protecting people, not ruling them. Loki and Odin. Loki's conflict with Odin is rooted in deception. Loki is adopted from the frost giants, but never told the truth. Odin raises him as a prince, while secretly viewing him as a political tool meant to bridge two realms. Loki grows up believing he belongs, only to discover his identity was built on a lie. Odin openly favors Thor, reinforcing Loki's belief that love is conditional. Odin claims his secrecy was meant to protect Loki, but the silence destroys trust. Loki interprets everything retroactively. His failures, his differences, and his treatment were never accidents. Loki's pursuit of power is not about conquest. It is about validation. Every betrayal is an attempt to prove he matters. Odin only openly calls Loki his son near the end of his life. By then, the damage is irreversible. Loki's later growth comes when he finally defines himself without Odin's approval, ending a cycle of identity built on deception. Gamora and Thanos. Thanos adopts Gamora after destroying her home planet. He raises her as a weapon, framing brutality as love and discipline as care. Every lesson is built on violence, justified as preparation for a cruel universe. Gamora never accepts his ideology. She defects, joins the Guardians, and actively works to stop him. On Vormir, she states the truth directly. Thanos does not love, he possesses. Thanos sacrificing Gamora to obtain the Soul Stone exposes the core of his worldview. He is capable of grief, but not restraint. Love does not prevent him from committing irreversible harm. This conflict matters because it shows how affection without morality becomes monstrous. Thanos believes he is righteous, but his willingness to kill his child proves his ideology values outcomes over humanity. Peter Quill, Yondu Udonta. Yondu abducts Peter as a child but secretly protects him from Ego. He raises Peter harshly, using fear and discipline to prepare him for survival in a dangerous universe. His parenting is flawed, but it is rooted in protection, not exploitation. Yondu believes he is unworthy of love. This belief causes him to hide affection behind cruelty and sarcasm. Despite this, he consistently chooses Peter's safety over profit or power. The truth is revealed when Yondu sacrifices his life to save Peter in Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 2. This act reframes everything. Ego shared Peter's DNA. Yondu gave his life. The contrast defines the MCU's clearest statement on fatherhood. Real parents protect their children, even when it costs them everything. Yondu becomes Peter's true father through sacrifice, not blood. Hela and Odin. Hela is Odin's firstborn and former executioner. Together, they conquered the 9 realms through extreme violence. Hela was raised to believe conquest was Asgard's destiny. When Odin decided to reinvent himself as a benevolent ruler, Hela no longer fit the narrative. Instead of taking responsibility, Odin erased her. He imprisoned Hela in another dimension, removed her from history, and concealed the truth from his people and his sons. This act of erasure is the core betrayal. Hela is not punished for wrongdoing. She is discarded for reflecting Odin's past too clearly. When Hela returns in Thor, Ragnarok, she exposes Asgard's false legacy. Her rage is about recognition as much as power. She is living proof that Odin's peaceful image was built on bloodshed. Asgard's destruction becomes inevitable, showing that denied history always resurfaces and often destroys what was built on its suppression. Shang-Chi and Wenwu. Wenwu is a 1,000-year warlord who briefly abandons violence for love. After his wife's death, grief hardens into obsession. He trains Shang-Chi as a weapon and sends him on his first assassination at 14. Shang-Chi responds by fleeing. He hides his past to avoid becoming his father. Wenwu interprets this as betrayal, not survival. Their final conflict is ideological. Wenwu uses power to dominate and control. Shang-Chi learns to redirect power to protect. In their final moment, Wenwu passes the 10 rings to his son, a late but genuine acceptance. This conflict shows that legacy does not disappear, but it can be reshaped. Shang-Chi does not inherit his father's purpose, only his tools. T'Challa and T'Chaka. T'Challa grows up idolizing his father, King T'Chaka. This image fractures when he learns T'Chaka killed his own brother and abandoned a child to preserve Wakanda's secrecy. In the ancestral plane, T'Challa directly confronts his father and the kings before him. He acknowledges that isolation allowed injustice to spread beyond Wakanda's borders. T'Challa's decision to open Wakanda to the world is both political reform and personal rejection of his father's fear-driven leadership. This conflict shows that honoring a parent does not mean repeating their mistakes. True leadership requires accountability, not blind reverence. Nebula and Thanos. Nebula's relationship with Thanos is defined by systematic abuse. Every loss to Gamora results in punishment. Thanos replaces pieces of her body with machinery, claiming it makes her stronger. Her body becomes a physical record of failure. Thanos pits Nebula against Gamora to force competition. Love is replaced with comparison. Improvement is enforced through pain. Nebula internalizes worthlessness and rage. Nebula's arc is about reclaiming identity. Healing begins when she recognizes the abuse for what it was. In Avengers: Endgame, killing her younger self symbolizes rejecting the version shaped by Thanos. Nebula's survival is not about winning, it is about breaking the cycle. She learns that strength is not endurance of pain, but the ability to choose connection over cruelty. Hank Pym and Hope Van Dyne. After losing Janet Van Dyne to the quantum realm, Hank Pym becomes overprotective and secretive. He excludes Hope from dangerous missions, believing control equals safety. Hope experiences this as dismissal. She is denied trust, not capability. Hank chooses Scott Lang to wear the Ant-Man suit instead of his own daughter. Reconciliation comes when Hank finally treats Hope as an equal partner. Allowing her to become the Wasp restores her autonomy and identity. This conflict shows how fear can stunt growth, and how trust is necessary for healing.